Good morning, everyone. This is Sharon. Today I have a journal share for you. I'll do a flip through of this custom journal I made for Laura. Laura had requested a tall, skinny journal similar to one I made for Victoria a couple months back. So on the front of the journal, I tied it up with this pretty kind of olivey green sari silk ribbon. And then I also embellished it with a little piece of jewelry. And I also wrapped it up with this pretty kind of an eyelet doily. And it has 3 signatures. And we'll take a look at the cover. I made the cover from an antique ledger from the late 1800s, and I covered the front with this beautiful French book cover image. And similar to the last one I did, the spine is covered with this kind of embroidered linen piece, and I have exposed spines, and then the back is similar to the front. And I placed this image just in a little bit from the edge so you could kind of see some of the original marble paper that was on the ledger book. If we open it up and go to the inside, you can see this was the outside of the ledger, this kind of marbled look, and I wanted to preserve that, not cover it up, so I put it on the inside. And then I just covered the inside cover with a book plate and this stamp. And then for the spine, I covered that with this beautiful vintage fabric. And then if we look at the back, this is the original 1897 label that was on the front of the ledger book. So I didn't want to cover that up either. I just embellished a little bit, and that's what the inside looks like. So heading on through, this first page, I created a little pocket on the top, and in there I inserted this antique French postcard. And similar to what I usually do, I will try to list the main digital kits that I used in this journal. These have a lot of pages from Roxy Creations. Here I've got this vellum pocket, and in there I created this tag with this beautiful lady on there, and I just love how this turned out. I used some organza type ribbon for the ruffle, some lace, and a little piece of bling on the top. Collage the back side, and then here's some writing space, and I just did a little bit of stenciling on there with paste. I've got a number of antique and vintage book pages that I incorporated as well. Here I just embellished the page with some labels. This is some treated napkin that has the texture of like a rice paper. And then on this page, I took some vintage wallpaper and created this little tab that I just kind of wrapped around the page onto that side as well. And in there, I have this tag that I made. And then on the back, I just tucked, again, some extra writing space and this image of these 3 girls. I love that image. On this side, I tucked this little antique calling card, which belonged to Lyda C. Hunt, and I just embellished it a little bit with some slow stitching on each side. And then on this side of the page, for the page, I've got this book page from an embroidery book, a French embroidery book, and I just folded it over and punched the edge of the page to create a tuck, and then added a piece of cheesecloth with some decorative stitching on there as well. And then in there, I inserted this photo of this lady. I did a little stenciling on there as well, just to embellish it a little bit. Here I created a top tuck with this beautiful image of the lady. And then on this page, I created a tab from some sari trim. And then in that tuck, I've got this piece of craft paper that I, again, did some stenciling on, and I just added a sheet on the back for writing. And then I also have this invoice image, again, a journaling card with some journaling space on the back. Here I took that ribbon and wrapped it around the page on this side. And then I've got this vintage sheet music that I used for my page. And again, I punched the edge and just created this little fold out and added some writing space on the inside. And then on the center of the signature, I used a book page from a bird book that I have to create these pockets. And then in those pockets, I tucked some more tags and journaling cards. Here I created a little mini notebook with all kinds of offcuts that can be used for writing. And then I also created this little card. And then on this side, I've got this little girl. I love that image. And then I just backed that with some, it's like a Florentine paper, but it's embossed. Again, some writing room, a little tablet on there, and then this pretty card. On this page, I just pinned on with a rusty stick pin, some old lace, some vintage French fabric, and some of this gauzy embroidered fabric that I have as well. And here I embellished this page with some antique lace, a little bit of sari trim. I created a ruffle on the top. And then here's the other side of that embroidery book page. And I've got another tuck here, and in there I created this journaling card. Got this image of these women. I love that one from Roxy Creations. Then on the inside, this is made from an old French book page. Or not French book page. This one's Hebrew, actually. And I just created like a little folio. So I've got some writing paper in there, and you could tuck some other things in there as well. Here I just added this little medallion with some fabric ribbon on there. In this page I embellished with this waxed image of this lady and a little bit of antique lace on there. And then here I've got another vellum pocket, and in there I've got this skinny little bookmark, or you could use it as a tag for writing. And then I've got this antique invoice, and that is dated 1907. On the top of this next page, I have a wax seal that I just layered up with some laces and fabric. And then in this next signature, I've got a paper doily. Here I just added a little bit of some fabric trim. And then on this side of the page, I clipped on a number of items. I've got this pretty envelope with this French scene on there. It's got a wax seal on this side, and then in there I tucked this antique photo of these three children kind of sitting in this garden. And then I also attached a couple pieces of French ephemera. And then here I just added this little onion skin kind of paper that I folded over, and it just has a little sort of pocket at the top, so you could stick something in there. I just like the way that looked. And then on this page, I've got an old French notebook sheet, and I just added a little bit of pressed flower, some of my lavender from my yard. Here again, I just embellished the pages, a little bit of lace on there. And then here I've got this, excuse me, pretty vellum pocket. And in there I have this menu digital, and this comes from Jacqueline at Souvenir de la France. And then it has this little pocket in the back. So in there I just created this tag and inserted that. It's so pretty. I'm going to be using that more. I just love that menu image. And then this side of the page is an old magazine page. It's from a magazine called Needlecraft, and it's dated 1926. And so what I did was I folded it in to create a flap, but I also folded it up on the bottom so that we didn't lose any of the image all the way up and down. And then on this side, if you fold it out, you get the full image of the page as well. Advertising some Jell-O. And then I created a couple of little pockets on that page. So in this one, I've got this little booklet with just some pieces of paper and some writing room on the inside. And then in this pocket, I inserted one of these little trading cards, faux trading cards that I made a couple months back. Some of my Amity Bloom washi tape. I've been using that quite a bit lately. And then on this side of the page, I created a double belly band with this antique lace. It's really pretty. It works well for belly bands. It's just a nice thickness. And then in there, I've got this journaling card. And then I also created this large journaling sheet and did some stenciling on the back, but did it light enough so that she could use it for writing. This page is one of the original pages from the ledger book that I used for the cover, and I just love this paper. It's from the late 1800s, but it feels exactly like rag paper. It's very thick and it's got that texture to it. I just love it. And it's got some beautiful writing on there as well. I probably should have copied that. So in this center section, I've got this little embossed piece that's from an old stock certificate. And then I also, on the strings, added some little pieces from a necklace. And then I've got two journaling cards in the center area. So I've got this one, this was a sari ribbon that just happened to be kind of shabbily attached in the middle, but it made this really pretty little bow sort of a thing, and the color was perfect. So I added that to the top, and then I wrapped this around to create a little side tuck and just tucked in there some vintage pieces of ephemera. And then this one as well. And I love these pretty lady images. These are from Ria at J'adore La Papier. And then on this one, I just added the little ribbon on the bottom. And then again, I added some antique, or maybe vintage. I don't think they're antique, vintage ephemera in there. And then on this side, again, I have the double belly band, and in there I've got, this is a book page from an old book that I have. And it's just got this beautiful book plate image on there. I just folded it in to create a lot of writing space on this side. And then here's another one of those pretty images from Jacqueline. And again, I just did some stenciling on the back of that. On this page, I just embellished a little bit with these faux buttons from Tracy at Love Junk Journals, and then a little bit of washi tape on the top of that page. And then this is the other side of that magazine page. So again, I just left this flap to fold down so you could see the full page. And then in there, I tucked this little journal card that I made and a tag. This is some Edith Holden book page. And then again, the other side of that Needlecraft magazine page. On this side of the page, I created another one of these little, I don't know what you call them, but I put little buttons on the bottom, and it's just kind of a keeper of documents. It's attached to the page, and up here there's this little clasp, and then I back that with some lace, and then I just took some hemp string that I got from Juanette and strung that up and down to kind of create this little mesh area that will hold in whatever documents you want to keep in there. One side note, this little piece on the bottom is actually a watercolor painting that I picked up when I was in Italy several years back. I just thought that looked nice on that page. And then in there, I've got some Holy 1600s book page from Rachel. I just love those pages. And then I also created this little journaling card with some writing room on the back. Okay, and then here I just embellished the page with this dotted sari ribbon. Some more of my lavender that I taped in. And then here's the other side of that onion skin sheet, again with a little pocket in there. I love to have little secret pockets where you can tuck things. And then here I created a pocket on the bottom of the page, again with an offcut from an old stock certificate. I just love the pretty intricate designs they have on those. And then in that pocket, I've got a couple of items. I've got this, again, this was a part of that stock certificate. It was kind of ripped off on the side. And then here I created this little faux envelope I tied up with some ribbon. And then in there, this is a Roxy Creations, like a sampler image. And I just added this lace piece on the top for the flap. And then inside, I tucked in a number of pieces that I made. Here I did some stenciling on book page and just added some writing room on the inside. And I've got this card, that pretty image. Again, some writing space on the back. This is some handmade paper that I made a number of years back. And then this pretty little girl. And those all tuck in there. Here I just embellished this bird with a nice little frame. And then for our last signature on this page, I just added some lace, a little bit of sari ribbon. Here I created a pocket with some embossed paper and some of that ledger paper. And then I also did some stenciling on the top again. And then I just created a couple of tags. Here I created a page with this kind of delicate hanky with a lot of lace around the outside. And then on this page I attached this very tall tag. This is made from a time card. Here I took a antique postcard to create this flip out, and I just attached it with some washi tape. And then I've got this page that I created with an old invoice from 1911. And then on top of the page, I embellished it with this little cluster wax seal. And then here, this page is created from a window envelope, and you can just see the sky through the window on the next page. And then this side, I just created this shallow little pocket where I inserted a couple of little faux calling cards that I made. Get this up where you can see it. Okay, on the center of the signature, I created 2 side tucks with these vellum pieces. And then in there, I added a couple of journaling cards. And these are all images from Ruby and Pearl, this page, and then these. And then I just added some pretty sari trim on there as well. The backs. Here I just added this little tatted piece from a doily on top. And then over here in this side on the pocket, I've got this little tag from embossed paper. And then I added this, I think it's a vintage, maybe it could be antique. No, it says 1840 on there, so it might be quite old. French envelope. And then in there, I've got this original cabinet card that is also French. I just love the back on there. On this page, I clipped on a couple of journal cards that I made. This one got a little charm on there. And then this one. I love these furniture pieces. These are from Shabby Dabby Judah. And the back. The other side of that hanky page. And then here on this page, I've clipped on another rather large journaling card. And that opens up, and I just added some writing space, and this is made from a vintage cookbook page. Just added a pretty ribbon on there. And then I did a little bit of collaging on this last page. And that is our journal. So I hope you enjoyed that flip through. I thank you for joining me today, and until next time, bye-bye.